It's the spring of 1989, and Brenham, Texas is overrun. Usually known for bluebonnets and Bluebell ice cream, Brenham has been taken over by a crowd of 5,000, almost half the local population, all for one thing. Fireman's Park, a stadium built for half this many people, is rocking with anticipation. Suddenly, the crowd roars. Down on the field, an 18-year-old has just taken the mound. If things go right these next few innings, John Peters will make history. Shortly after this night, Sports Illustrated will give John a nickname, Superkid. He'll carry it with him for the rest of his life. He will give interviews on national television. Texas A&M will ask him to play for them. Scouts will call him the next Nolan Ryan. John Peters will not be the next Nolan Ryan. In fact, he will never throw a major league pitch. Years from now, Superkid will be a footnote in baseball history. Even the biggest fans have probably never heard his name. This is the story of John Peters, the best high school pitcher ever. Brenham, Texas is a baseball town. In a state best known for its Friday night lights, Brenham has been the birthplace of several iconic baseball players. Its most famous, perhaps, is Cecil Cooper, who played first base for 17 years in the majors, made 5 All-Star teams, and was generally one of the best hitters of the early 80s. Most of these players, including Cooper, cut their teeth at Fireman's Park, the field where the Brenham High School Cubs play their games. It was here, in the self-described baseball capital of Texas, that John Peters was born. John grew quickly. He was taller and heavier than other kids his age, something that would make him extremely self-conscious over the years. As a little leaguer, he was forced to wear an adult-sized uniform that was different from all of his teammates. They called him Big John. On the mound, however, John's size would be a blessing. At the age of 12, he struck out all 18 opponents in a Little League All-Star game. By the 7th grade, he was student manager of the varsity team. In his freshman year of high school, Big John was named to the team himself. He went undefeated his first season, with a 13-0 record. His sophomore year was even better, 15-0 with 209 strikeouts in 104 innings. Brenham won the state tournament both times. 2 seasons, 28 wins, 0 losses. By now, John Peters was throwing as hard as 92 miles per hour, with pinpoint command. After he won the 1988 state championship game, it wasn't a question of if John Peters would be a pro. It was how soon. He had accepted a scholarship to Texas A&M. His own mother wanted him to go to college, but even she admitted that if John got drafted, and the money was there, well, he could make up his own mind. He did suffer a setback that summer, in the form of a torn anterior capsule in his throwing arm. This is a shoulder injury, the same kind that essentially killed the careers of MLB stars like Dallas Braden, Mark Pryor, and Chien-Ming Wang. John underwent surgery, repaired his shoulder, and returned to the mound. But he would never throw as hard again. His fastball dropped to the mid-80s. Still good, but far from the firepower he had before. Even then, however, John took this obstacle as an opportunity. Now, he had to rely on more than just speed to get batters out, using an unorthodox delivery and still excellent curveball to carve through opponents. It didn't take long for Peters to find himself in the papers yet again. This time, it was for winning his 34th straight game, passing what was thought to be the national high school record for consecutive victories. Sports Illustrated planned a front-page story, one which would have made John the first high school baseball player ever to make the cover. Unfortunately, Pete Rose was suspended that same week for bumping an umpire, and they went with that instead. But here's the thing, John didn't actually have the record. At least, not yet. As it turned out, the real record for consecutive wins by a high schooler was 50, set by Timmy Moore of McCole, South Carolina. So the chase began again. John finished out his junior year with 8 more wins, bringing him to 43. He opened his senior season with 7, including 2 no-hitters. On April 21st, he won his 50th career game, tying the all-time mark. Which was how, on April 28, 1989, John Peters found himself with 50 wins, no losses, and a chance for baseball history.
No one off the team's giving him grief. We teased him a little bit about it, teased him about the cameras being right there in the face and stuff, and teased him maybe a little bit about where he thinks he's going to go to college and stuff.
He's a great guy. He's a hard worker. He's really enthusiastic. If you're loafing, he'll get on you and He's really motivated.
He works awful hard to improve himself.
Each year you can see him go on and on. His control's gotten better, speed's picked up, curveball's gotten a lot sharper break to it, and everything's just improved.
Best you've ever seen here?
He's done a very good job. He's quite a remarkable young man, and I know his future looks bright in baseball and outside of baseball.
History in the making.
Yeah, I want to make sure you got a good seat for history.
To say Fireman's Park was crowded would be an understatement. Half the population of Brenham had come to watch this game. The city had donated extra bleachers for the crowd. Those who couldn't find a seat brought their own. They invited record holder Timmy Moore to throw out the first pitch. Moore, who by then was working with a freight company in North Carolina, said that even he hadn't known he had held the record. So this was a nice surprise. There were at least 20 photographers in attendance, plus 4 live radio broadcasts, and 8 TV cameras to capture every moment. As dusk set in and game time approached, all eyes were on John Peters. For the 18-year-old, it must have felt like the whole world was watching. Finally, the game began.
Luckily we came through. We hit the ball real well. You know, that was just something. He hung me a curveball, and then, you know, I felt good on the mound all night, and, you know, it was just one of those nights I felt great.
He handles pressure so well. I mean, that's going to be a plus for him at A&M. I mean, because all the people there, because they're gonna come through and win some national championships pretty soon. And with John, he can only help him, and he can take the pressure, as you see, and he's just a great ball player.
Let me ask you, John, because everybody always has somebody that they want to pattern themselves after. I'm sure there's some pitcher who you idolized as a young kid.
Right, Nolan Ryan, and he's a class act on and off the field, and you know, I try to act kind of like him, and you know, on the field he's you know, never gets mad. He goes out there and tries his best, and that's what I try to do. He's a great guy.
Some fans are still a bit upset the fact that where he's playing this year. What pro team would you like to play for, John, given the opportunity?
Well, I wouldn't mind to play for Nolan. You know, if he's still playing, I like to play with him. If he's coaching, I like to play under him, and you know, maybe one day I'll get the opportunity.
You know, up till now, Ron, Brenham's been famous mostly for bluebonnets and ice cream, and now it's famous for John Peters as well. He set a new record for consecutive wins by a schoolboy pitcher, and he did it in a stadium that was packed so tightly you couldn't get in here with a crowbar. The people of Brenham turned out to watch him do it.
Once in a lifetime, you'll never see this again, probably. I don't think anybody will ever break it again.
John's fans began lining up around 3 this afternoon. The stadium only holds 2,500, even with the extra bleachers they brought in for tonight's game.
Well, there you have the media's attack on John Peters after he set a record for consecutive wins in high school baseball. 51 now goes in the books. John Peters of Brenham High School, along with Coach Earl Hathaway. John and Earl, thank you for joining us this morning. Was the media a factor as far as pregame and psych and everything? Because I know you walked a few in the second inning. Did we bother you?
Well, at the beginning I was a little nervous, but you know, that was one of those nights I had my stuff, and team played well behind me, and we did it.
John Peters, winner of a national record 51 straight games, joins us from Brenham, Texas. Good morning, John. Congratulations.
Morning, thank you.
You pitched a no-hitter. You knocked in the first run. You knocked in the 10th run. You had a shutout. Was Friday night something rather unreal?
Well, it was just one of those nights. Everything was going right for us, and we played good baseball, and just hopefully we continue.
Now, we just found out this morning. Is it okay to mention that? Is that fair, or should we not mention that?
That's fine.
You're going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated, a high school senior. What do you think?
Is that the first time ever?
What do you think about that?
Well, you know, I never dreamed of being on the cover of Sports Illustrated when I'm a high school athlete. I don't know why they want a high school athlete on there, but it's a great honor, and I'm very proud of it.
Oh, come on, you're the biggest thing that's come out of Texas and the nation right now. 51 consecutive wins.
Let me ask you to drop all pretense of modesty for a second. How come you're so good?
Well, my teammates, every time I go out, they hit the ball and play good defense, and my coaches, my family, the community of Brenham, they all been great to me, and without them, I couldn't have done this.
Okay, we don't deny their part in this. What about your part?
Well, you know, so far I've been lucky with, you know, a few breaks. You know, Friday night was one of those nights I just had my good stuff, and you know, I thank the good Lord for giving me the opportunity.
Being the biggest thing out of Brenham, how has that distracted you from all of your studies and your schoolwork, or has it?
It has, and you know, I try to keep academics first and then athletics, and I know many people say that that's wrong. I keep athletics first, but I work hard on my
Wait a minute,
my study
athletics,
habits.
Academics, no dating, no girls? No.
Right, I date.
I
Look
bet.
at Earl. Let's see, what's in there? Yeah, you date. Look at it. You want to mention any names?
Well, I've been dating the same girl for 2 years, Jill Becker, and you know, our coach says we fight a lot, but you know, we're getting along right now, so that's all that counts.
They get along during baseball season.
Well, we're talking about prom later on in the program. I mean, that prom time's coming up, isn't it?
Right, she's going with me there.
Big plans and all that.
Right.
You know, that's what happened with Nolan and his wife. They were high school sweethearts, you know, all through their years of growing up together, and they ended up having a happy marriage, wonderful family. So if you're patterning your life after Nolan, you never know this might happen.
We just married you off, John.
That's right.
On
She's probably
TV.
watching today.
No pressure here, is there? Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Okay.
For all this attention, though, no one could see what was bubbling just under the surface. Not even Sports Illustrated.
Long blue jeans like Opie Taylor and extra large ears. What'd you think about that description of John Peters?
Well, I know I have big ears, but
you know, I'm on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I feel like I'm not good enough. That doesn't even make sense. That guy looks very confident, but inside he was dying. The night before the record-breaking game, my girlfriend and I had gotten into an argument, and I was done with everything. And I tried to kill myself that night. But I never shared that with anybody till a year ago or so.
John would never play for Texas A&M. He had elbow surgery as a freshman, then Tommy John, then tore his rotator cuff. He graduated and got married. He also started drinking, heavily.
I always looked forward to playing there, but it seemed like every fall I'd get hurt. I would rehab my arm, my shoulder would get too strong, my elbow would be weaker, then I'd have an elbow problem, so it was always something. Eventually it just took its toll. There were many nights I'd say, God, I don't want to wake up, please. Thankfully he didn't answer that prayer. Why I felt that way, I don't know, because I really had it all. I was divorced, I was in the house all by myself, drinking, I was drinking vodka, and I was like, I'm done, I want to die, and it was like the lowest I'd ever been. Well, I had lost my marriage, and it was March 27, 2010. I was at home watching ESPN about 2:30 at night, drinking vodka,
and I wanted to die. And I had been so angry at God, I was like, why is this all happening? And I heard a voice that said, John, it's okay, just tell somebody. And I started calling people for the first time, and I started reaching out for help. Because I always thought growing up I had to be tough and I had to be strong, and I couldn't ask for help, and if I did, it was a sign of weakness. But what I found is when I reached out to people, they were right there. No one judged me. It was like, hey, John, it's okay. And what I found is when I started being real with people, they started being really real with me, and we started connecting, and that's when life really took off.
Well, as it says, when life grabs you by the baseballs, finding happiness in life's change-ups, what are they going to find in there?
They're going to find a lot of honesty, because once I started telling people, that's when I got a lot of freedom. I see a lot of people today like that, and so it's been real rewarding when I share that with people. Some of them say, man, I feel the same way.
What do you want people to think when they pick up that book? Would you like to be remembered as much for that as you are for this?
Yeah, I'd like to be remembered more for this, more for extending my arms and saying, hey, it's okay if you're not alone, and however I can help.
Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble, stay away from my door. Trouble going back, don't come around no more. Trouble, stay